Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Don't Forget to Tap. This is Chris, sharing my jiu-jitsu journey and experience and everything that comes with that with you guys. So a couple things that are kind of unique about this video is number one, the device that I'm shooting it on. So I'm not sponsored to do any of this. When I think something is truly great, I like to talk about it. But I'm using the Insta360 Go 3S, and I gotta say I'm impressed. The audio is good. I'm not using any external microphones. The 4K is outstanding, and it just came from a very unexpected place. Like, I figured this camera would be good because, you know, other Insta360 cameras that I use are, but I'm really impressed with this thing. The screen flips up, so I'm looking at it. Anyway, like I said, I'm not sponsored to say any of this. I just like giving credit where credit is due. The other thing that's unique is where I'm shooting this. I'm actually in my hometown of Illinois, Southern Illinois, and I mean like South Illinois. And so I'm out in the park. You know, when I'm at home, we've got family, we've got dogs and everything, so it's kind of hard to get into the topics without a lot of background noise and everything, and that's fine. That's just how it goes sometimes. But I used to come to this park a lot as a kid, and so this seemed like a really cool place to do this episode and share that with you guys. But yeah, so that's, if it looks a little bit different, or if I'm in the car, I'm not driving or anything like that. Obviously nothing's moving, but I'm in a stable place and there's not a lot happening around me right now. So really small town. But and I'm getting ready to go to the gym, but I like doing this episode. I made some notes on my phone. I don't know why I said episode weird. That was strange, but I like doing this episode because another unique thing about this episode is that today is the last day of 2024, and that means that tomorrow will bring in 2025. And I just wanted to kind of talk about you know, wrapping up what 2024 looked like for me and what I would like to see happen in 2025. And I think there's a lot happening out there. There's a lot that has happened, and I'm really excited to kind of talk about both. But obviously at the same time, just kind of get into the weeds on what to expect, what's happened, you know, where I'm going, stuff like that. So yeah, we'll get into it. So 2024 has been a good year, and you know, around this time of the year is where you'll see a lot of social media posts talking about what a whirlwind 2024 has been, or the last year, and you know, the broad topic of things. And I think that's pretty normal, and they'll always say, you know, like, here's to next year, it's got to be better, it can't be worse than the last year, whatever like that. And I think that reality is exactly what you make it. I think it's a lot of perception, right? How we perceive our reality becomes our reality. And so this episode isn't so much about jiu-jitsu. I want to lead back to that. You know, everything's about jiu-jitsu. I'm going to talk a lot about jiu-jitsu, but this is just kind of wrapping up the year. So anyway, I wanted to kind of throw that in there, because if you see me going off topic, or you're like, where is this going? Why is this relevant to jiu-jitsu? It's relevant because a lot happens, and a lot of things external in life or internal to life affect the jiu-jitsu. So I guess what I'm saying is things off the mat tend to affect things on the mat. And that's okay. That's the way it goes. So getting back to it, 2024, you know, everyone's talking about what a long year it's been and what they would like to see in 2025 and all the bad stuff that happened in 2024. And I think that reality is what you make it, right? And I'm guilty as anybody else of having a negative attitude about things and you know, talking about the bad, focusing on the bad, anything like that. But in the grand scheme of things, 2024 was not a bad year for me and my family, and I hope it wasn't for you either. And when it comes to what's important, right? A lot of crazy things happen in the world, a lot of things are going down, but I don't have a lot of direct say in those things. So what I try to focus on and what I try to control, I don't come from a perspective of positivity or just always being positive and, you know, being ignorant of the negative. I think those things absolutely exist, but I believe in intelligence, right? And I'm intelligent enough to know what I can control and what I can't, and how my actions affect those things if I act a certain way on those actions. And I'd like to think that I'm mature enough to acknowledge things in the world without having to be emotionally damaged by them, hopefully, right? There are exceptions, as there are with everything. You know, I always talk about one of the things that impacted me probably the hardest in my entire life was losing the lead singer of Linkin Park, Chester Bennington, because that was such a staple of me growing up, such an impact. So when that happened, I looked at that whole year as just a wash. I mean, everything just kind of crashed around me, because that was somebody that I thought so highly of. I remember in high school, I dyed my hair like bleach blonde like he did and stuff like that. So it was just a really big deal to me that have such a powerful person in my life, you know, just suddenly gone. And I'm sure that has happened to some people this year. You know, they've lost some people and some influences. There have been some pretty notable people die this year, and that's very unfortunate. You know, we just lost I believe the oldest standing president, who lived to be 100 years old. And you know, that comes with life. Unfortunately, as you get older in life, I think the hard thing to accept is loss, right? But getting back to it, I think being mature enough and being intelligent enough to understand that you got to keep moving forward in life, and you can't walk around with these chips on your shoulder, is really important. So there has been some heaviness to it, but at the same time, I have so much to be grateful for. You know, I think life is abundantly full of good things, and I love that. I think life has so much to offer. It's full of so many good things. I've met so many wonderful people. And 2024, you know, looking back at it, some of the things I'm grateful for, we have, you know, first and foremost, for the most part, my family has been pretty healthy. We had a couple scares here and there on some things, but at the end of the day, you know, my family is everything to me. And if they're healthy and they're happy and we're all able to sit down and eat together and be together, then it's a really great life, in my opinion. So I'm very, very thankful for that. And then on the same part too, you know, we have a lot going for us. You know, this we just hit 1 year of owning this vehicle, and this is my wife's first new car. I'm really thankful. It's been a great car for the last year. Jiu-jitsu has been wonderful. I've met incredible people. I'll get into that in a little bit and actually focus on the jiu-jitsu. But just so much to be grateful for. You know, I've had a lot of opportunities. I had a big transition at work and got a really big transition, and we'll get into that when we start talking about the 2025 aspect. But there's been so much good happening in my life, and I tend to focus on the bad, and that's something that I'm trying to train and discipline myself to do, is to have better habits about that, because I really don't like that's a thing. Sorry, I'm gonna turn the heat off. It's the only thing. I'm checking the temperature. The camera does get a little bit warm, but it's to be expected. I mean, you're running 2 independent batteries, so I expect a little bit of heat. But anyway, so I have so much to be grateful for, so much that I am thankful for. And I don't know what's going to happen in 2025 to be, sorry, I'm just getting some heat on my feet. But I don't know what's going to happen when it comes to 2025. But I do know that going into it, I was blessed with all the things that I got to carry into day 1 of 2025. And I'm really excited about what that brings. When it comes to jiu-jitsu specifically in 2024, I had a lot of highs and lows. You know, I think about this time last year when I was making this video, at this time last year, I told myself I was going to go all in. I was going to, you know, train 5 days a week or something like that. I didn't listen to the episode from last year, but I'm pretty sure I knew where my head was at that point, and that I wanted to kind of start stepping it up and everything. And first and foremost, I want to lead with that this whole experience, this whole thing, what you're watching is about being raw and being real in jiu-jitsu. And I have not felt motivated in jiu-jitsu for the entire year. And if I'm being completely transparent, you know, so much of that is on me. It's me and my mental space. I talk about this all the time in previous episodes and everything. But, you know, I've really not been happy with my progress, and that is also on me. I've been, you know, kind of disappointed with, you know, my mentality towards it and my attitude towards it. I've kind of developed a little bit of a chip on my shoulder when it comes to some things in jiu-jitsu. And that's just being honest. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just, you know, I'm putting this out there because if somebody out there is watching this and maybe they're at this point, you know, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for around 2.5 years now, and I'm a white belt. and I'm extremely frustrated with that. Not that being a blue belt is an end all be all, but I feel like, you know, I'm disappointed with my growth, and that's on me. You know, I know anybody in the jiu-jitsu community would say that's not on anybody else other than me, and I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you all. I'm not trying to whine about it. But if we're talking about, you know, the pros and cons of jiu-jitsu in 2024, well, there's one of them. And I'm, you know, at least for where I'm at in my division of experience, I think I'm okay at jiu-jitsu. There's still so many missing pieces, and this is a lifelong journey. So in the absolute grand scheme of things, I am god awful. Even when I think I'm good, I'm god awful. So I'd like to lead with that. But you know, it's been a really hard year, and to be honest, I've almost for the entire year I've just wanted to quit. I really have I've actually drafted the email a couple times. I've almost told them a couple times. I have not been in love with jiu-jitsu this last year. I'm not in love with it right now, if I'm being honest with you. But as I've said in many other episodes, I have a habit of quitting things when they get hard, and jiu-jitsu got hard. And I started comparing my journey to other people's. I started, you know, getting the little chips. So that's one thing that I will talk about is I think the longer you go in jiu-jitsu, it does, you know, my coach said this one time, that it does kind of break your heart a little bit. And it's definitely doing that. You know, I'm very frustrated, very upset with it. But that means ultimately I'm upset with myself, and I understand that. I definitely am mature enough to know what that looks like and everything. But that's on me. That's something I can control. And so I'm not gonna, you know, looking forward, let's talk about 2025. I'm not gonna make any false promises. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna double down. I'm not gonna train 5 times a week. I don't know, I might, but I'm not gonna set it out that that's gonna be my resolution. So before we get into what I do want to achieve in 2025, let's talk about New Year's resolutions and the gym hype and the fitness journey and everything, because I see all the memes and reels and everything about you know, what people do when a new year happens, and I want to kind of give my 2 cents on it. This is my video, me talking about it, and I'm assuming that you don't mind to watch it because you're still here with me, and so here we are. You know, so here's my take on New Year's resolutions. A lot of people kind of give them a hard time, make fun of them, don't do them, whatever it is. I think New Year's resolutions are beautiful. I think they're really, really important. I think they're incredibly important, actually, because I think life is really tough. I think we get kicked and things taken from us so much in life that the opportunity, if people perceive a new year as a new opportunity and a way to reset their life and a chance to start anew, I think that's beautiful. I think that's such a great way to look at life. And I think that commitment to be better, even if it's temporary or maybe it's, you know, too big or too small, just wanting to be better, or wanting a chance to reset your life, I understand that personally. I get that, you know, I understand wanting to make the best of yourself and taking action to do so. You know, the rest of the year, people don't really do stuff like that. And I don't want to be that guy. I want to focus on the stuff that is important. I want to make the best of myself. I want to, you know, make myself better every chance I get. And if in the eyes of a lot of people, that means a new year is a new opportunity or a way to rediscover themselves or reset themselves, I think we should all be encouraging that, because, and I think with the right amount of encouragement and the right amount of support, that people are more likely to stick on those paths of success and self-growth. And so if you know somebody out there, or yourself, make a New Year's resolution. Make one to yourself, make one, or support somebody else's. If you see somebody else that makes one, and in the back of your head, you're instantly like, yeah, I heard this last year, and you know, you're gonna fall off as soon as the first time we pass a Burger King or something like that. That's okay, you know, I'm good with that. But I also think that a more probably constructive conversation would be, hey man, you got this, or why don't we go here instead of there, or how about I make us, you know, this instead of we eat that, or I think you're doing a really good job, or I see the results, man, you look great, you got this, anything like that. Any of the above conversations are really good conversations comparatively. So I think just taking the time to encourage people to be their best selves, I think that's what New Year's is about for a lot of people, because life has been hard. A lot of people didn't have great years. A lot of people have less to be grateful for. And if a new year is a new opportunity for them to do that, then encourage them. If you see somebody new in the gym, whether it be in the weights or on the mats, encourage that person. You know, maybe you've never seen them before. Maybe you are the regular. Maybe you know how all the equipment works, and maybe they don't. And their act of courage was them just being there in the first place. Or, you know, maybe they come in and they have no idea how to wear a gi or tie a belt, or, you know, how to step on the mats or anything. Be the person that offers a hand. The world has so many people that are willing to be negative. Why not be somebody that's willing to be positive and help others? And so I know that a lot of people are going to make the jokes about full gyms. Get over it. You know, if you're so sensitive to other people working out in a gym or a full gym, either A, wake up earlier or go later, or deal with it, right? You don't own that gym. You pay the same dues that they are, or you have the same access that they have, unless it's your gym. And then if it's your gym, I'm questioning a number of things. But yeah, let people be people. Let them discover themselves. Let them be the best version of themselves, and let them grow just like you're growing and you're trying to better yourself. They deserve that same opportunity. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. Take into it what you will. But I think a new year is a new opportunity. And, you know, maybe for some people it's moving on from a relationship. It's overcoming a really negative thing that's happened in their life. Whatever that looks like, that's okay. You know, I just encourage those people, keep them going. This might be the best shot they have at recovering from something really traumatic in their life. And, you know, mental health is a huge thing for me. I've overcome in some ways my mental health. In some ways I'm still battling it. You know, I've dealt with serious depression, you know, tried to do some things I'm not proud of in the past, and sometimes I needed that new year to reset myself, and those are a long time ago for me personally. But I think that sometimes when there's a darkness around somebody or in somebody, that kind of feels like a weight inside of that person or on that person, they need the light every chance they get. And if a new year is a new opportunity to do that for those people, then we should absolutely be encouraging that every chance we get. So if you're watching this and you haven't heard this, I'm proud of you. You got this. It's going to be great. You're going to do great. Stick with it. You know, I know it's really intimidating. It's really scary, but you took the hardest step, which is just showing up in the first place. And you know, that kind of brings me to my 2025 New Year's resolution with jiu-jitsu. I've got a couple, but my jiu-jitsu one isn't going to look like me saying I'm going to go compete in some fancy tournament, or I'm going to get this belt, or I'm going to get this stripes, or I'm going to go 5 days a week, or I'm going to go to this, you know, start doing this class or anything like that. When it comes to jiu-jitsu, man, you know, my whole approach has kind of become, I'll make it when I make it, but I promise I won't quit. And so I'm doing the best I can, you know, with jiu-jitsu and life and everything. And I'm really proud of the progress I've made. And if other people can't recognize it or see that, that's not my problem, because I'm on my journey, not theirs. And I'm okay with that. I'm not here to impress anybody else with jiu-jitsu. I'm not here to compete for some school. I'm not here to make them look good or anything like that. I'm here to be the best version of myself. And that's what I'm proud of. I'm proud of me being better each and every time, regardless of what that looks like. And so I'm going to do the best I can as long as it's right for me, but I promise I won't quit. And that's what I think a lot of people kind of weigh you on. I think a lot of people expected me to quit jiu-jitsu, that maybe first kind of sized me up when I started. And I'm going to be honest, part of me thought I was going to quit. I mean, I didn't really take this all that serious in the beginning, but jiu-jitsu is really good for me. It's really good for my mental health. It's really good for my life. I like what it gives me. It's not about the fighting at all. I could care less about the fighting. I love the people, the community, the technical aspects of it, and a place that really makes me confront myself. And so that's what jiu-jitsu gives me. I could care less about the fighting. I never want to get in a street fight. I hope I never have to. But I love that jiu-jitsu gives you something if you do ever have to be put in that situation, and that's okay. But my New Year's resolution when it comes to jiu-jitsu is just, I'm not going to quit, and I'm never going to quit. I promise you this, if you're watching, and I hope, you know, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever, you know, your goals are, and it's fine to have big goals in jiu-jitsu, to get, you know, golden pans, or, you know, to win your bracket, to get your next belt. Those are all great things, but I just don't care anymore, right? I'm going on 3-year white belt. I think my give a damn went out the window a while ago when it comes to trying to move quickly in this process. It's not going to happen. So that's okay. I don't care about that, and I quit caring about that. I'm happy with my growth in jiu-jitsu. I'm proud of my growth in jiu-jitsu, and I'm good with my growth in jiu-jitsu. And it makes me a better person. It makes me a better person at home. It makes me a better person out in the world, at work, stuff like that. And that's enough, right? So 2025, I'm really excited to meet you, and I'm really excited to go out and be a force of good and positivity in the world. And I hope you're ready for all the good things that are going to happen this year. And 2024, I want to say thank you for all the lessons and all the good that you brought into our lives. And I appreciate the lessons you gave us from the things that weren't so good. And I hope that you're with those people that need you, you know, the most, or that 2025 is kind to the people where maybe in some ways 2024 wasn't, is what I'm trying to say. But it's going to be a great year if you make it a great year. Don't rely on it to be a good year. Make it a good year. And that's what's going to be the most powerful tool you have. Always reach out. Feel free to drop me a comment, drop me a like. A subscribe is always appreciated. But if all else fails, not just on the mats, but in life, don't forget to tap. Proud of you guys. See you next time. Bye.